The neuroscience behind building a successful business. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Mind Engineer community. Here, Tommy Walker, sharing insight and tools to help you understand the mind and how the mind is trying to keep you safe by not letting you grow your business. And I know it sounds weird, but please bear with me because I'm going to share some insight that is going to help you understand a bit more and connecting the dots on why you're second guessing yourself, falling into procrastination, self sabotage, not doing what you need to do with your business, not finding time, whatever that is, that you're not being able to invest in your business. It starts up here. So stick around because I'm going to share some insight that is going to blow your mind. If you're watching live, I want to invite you to write in the comments #live, or if you're watching replay, #replay to know that you're there. Thank you very much for following, for listening. So let's talk about the neuroscience behind having a successful business. One of the first things that I was taught when I started this journey after struggling with businesses over and over again, I started trying to be an entrepreneur back in the 1998, 1997, more or less. As soon as I left school, I started trying to, apart from working, starting different ideas to start my own business. I always wanted to have my own business. And for many years, from 1998, more or less, let's put 1998, till more or less 2010, 2011, let's put 2010, I struggled. So it was around 12, 13 years that I struggled and I didn't know what was going on. I had tried so many things, different business models. I did, different type of positivity, visualization, many things to try to overcome whatever was going on, and nothing seemed to work. So different businesses didn't work. Visualization, positivity, didn't work. So it was in 2009 when I started working with a woman that started teaching me these tools I'm going to start sharing here to help you understand better how the mind works, and that I've also been sharing different things, for some time. So the first thing is that the mind is trying to protect you. Normally, the mind is trying to protect you from pain. Yes, pain. What does that have to do with your business? That started a business is very filled up with uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if what you're going to try is going to work. You might reach out to people and nothing might happen. You might pay money to put ads and nothing might happen. So there's a lot of uncertainty along. And I've been now entrepreneur for 29 years and there is still uncertainty. The thing is that the mind, the ego, doesn't know how to navigate uncertainty. So it tries to control. And there has two main ways to try to control. Listen to this. The first one is not doing. The people that fall normally into procrastination, self-sabotage, analysis paralysis, those are a type of symptom that is showing you that the mind is protecting you. And on the other side, we have the provers, the perfectionists, the people that, cannot stop ever. So the idea is to start trying to find where you're at with your business as you're acting out these things. Are you falling into procrastination, not being able to do the things you need to do? Are you falling into self-sabotage? You do something and then you delete it. You do this and then you stop. Or overthinking, analysis paralysis. Or are you falling into doing, and still not getting results? Everything goes back to how the mind works, the neuroscience behind it. So again, the mind is trying to protect you. The mind doesn't want to feel negative emotions. Did you know that Van der Kolk and some other people, and he studied this, and I don't remember it was his specific studies or other people's study that he collected in his book, but Bessel van der Kolk, a well-known psychologist, what he did, psychologist, MD, I don't remember exactly now, but what he did was collected a lot of information from different people, and he showed that when electrodes were put in people and they would do CAT scans and different things, the centers that lit up when you felt physical pain, a lot of them would lit up when you felt emotional pain. And in the entrepreneur journey, you're going to feel emotional pain. You're going to feel scared that you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to feel, anxiety. You're going to feel shame. You're going to, when somebody does a bad comment or, judges you or criticizes you for what you're trying to do, shame. There's going to be so many negative emotions, and most people don't know how to handle them because nobody taught us. As nobody taught us how to handle our negative emotions, the mind is going to try to prevent you, try to protect you from feeling those emotions. So if I expose myself, if I do a live like this and people start saying that what I'm saying is bullshit, what I'm saying makes no sense, I'm a load of crap, what is going to happen inside of me if I start reading those comments? And you know what? It has happened in the past. But as I had these tools, it helped me navigate it while I was doing these things. And I kept on going. And I've been, again, an entrepreneur for 29 years with ups and downs. In 2023, I started one of my businesses that went more like this than like this. And then eventually in 2011, I kind of did some tweaking and I did a big launch. And that was a big hit in my company. Then many years later, I started this other company about coaching. I had been doing it within this other company, but then I started doing it worldwide in English. So I started another company, another business that I registered in the US. And since then, I've been working with people all around the world. And I see this over and again with people struggling with their business, people making money with their business, people making a lot of money with their business. They don't know how to handle their emotions. Today, I was working with a guy that he became the vice president of a company for many years, and he was doing amazing. Suddenly, COVID hit, and his business just went sideways. And he started falling into drinking to cover the pain. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. We all have ways of numbing our pain. But he realized, and this happens to most people that I work with, that he was trying to prove that he was good enough. And when he was able to be up there, although he thought he was feeling good enough, he was working his ass off. And I see that in a lot of successful people. But deep down, they don't feel happy. They don't feel connected. They're struggling within, because they're not dealing with their emotions and what's behind the emotions. So imagine that you put a video out there. It's not so much what somebody's going to tell you, it's what you're going to tell yourself with that comment that that person said. So it's not so much what others do or say, it's what you tell yourself from those situations. So you're in control, nobody else. That's why when we start understanding how the mind works, it makes it much easier to navigate the challenges that we're going to face through our business. Being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest things there is out there. That's why so many people fail at it. So many people give up starting, the first couple of months, maybe 6 months into it, a couple of years into it, they give up. Why? Because of their mind and how it's trying to protect them from feeling pain. When you start understanding deeper how the mind works, the different symptoms that you might have, not the problem. Procrastination is not the problem, is the solution, is a symptom that is something deeper is happening. Analysis paralysis, stress, self-doubt, self-sabotage, anxiety, those are just symptoms that something deeper needs to be dealt with. If we don't deal with what's going on deeper, unfortunately, there are low chances that we're going to be able to have a successful business. As I always say, there are two main groups of people: the doers, provers, or the avoiders. For the doers, provers, kicking themselves in the butt, for most of them works, and they're able to get results. They're able to have a successful business, but they end up being burnt out. There's a big guy out there, Tanner Chichester, something like that, I don't really remember exactly his last name, that he became a millionaire, a multimillionaire, and one day he nearly shoots himself. He nearly commits suicide. So he had everything, but inside of him, he had nothing. So externally, he is a doer. He had pushed himself really hard to get to where he wanted. He became a millionaire, but he felt miserable inside of him. So those are the doers. But then you have the avoiders that try to become doers by kicking themselves in the butt, but it doesn't work for most of them because they need to understand what's going on here. Kicking yourself in the butt is going to get you the same result it has been getting you for the last 5, 10, whatever years you've been doing it. That is not the correct way. That is not how actually the mind works. If you keep trying that, unfortunately, you're going to keep getting the same results. So if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you want to actually have a business, you got to do the uncomfortable. And that is not the external thing, it's the inner world. Start understanding yourself. Start navigating the emotions, feeling them. How do I feel? Why do I feel this? How does this make me feel about myself? Going deeper into navigating the emotions to release them and then be able to find the narratives that you're telling yourself. Behind the emotions, you have narratives, stories, beliefs that you're telling yourself. So the mind is trying to protect you from confirming those beliefs. So if you launch your business and nobody buys, if you do a big launch, webinar, whatever that is, a company that you have, showing your products, whatever, nobody buys or very few people buy, what you tell yourself is a problem. Normally is, I'm not good enough. This is not for me. You see, I cannot do this. This is for others, not for me. Whatever it is, a narrative you're telling yourself. And the mind is trying to protect you from confirming whatever narrative it has. That is the neuroscience behind the mind and behavior. The more we're able to understand, I've been studying this for 17 years and I have studied so many people out there, and most people out there have it all wrong. Because if most people out there had it all right, humanity would be in a different place. And we see more and more people struggling with depression, anxiety, suicidal. We're seeing more and more problems in society, not solution, not more people making it. And you might say, but Tommy, now is the best time in the whole humanity where people can become millionaires. How many people are becoming millionaires? How many people do you know close to you? Not the ones that you see online on social media. Because how do you know those are true? I can right now put up some bank statements saying that I'm a multimillionaire. Who says that's true? Who can confirm that that's true? And history has showed us that there's a lot of people that are inventing stuff to make themselves look good in the eyes of others, to make more money, scam people. So the truth is, we got to be very careful. How many people around you do you know that have become millionaires with AI, with coaching, with whatever? How many? Seriously. Sustained, not they made. Yeah, I know a guy. The other day I was talking to somebody who said, oh yeah, Tommy, I know a guy that he made $15,000 in a month with his business. Okay, is he doing that money? Oh no, then he had to close his business because after that he made a little bit more, and then he didn't make any more. So having a business meaning that you can sustain it in time, not just a couple of months you made all the money and then boom, the business just fell apart, imploded because you couldn't provide to your clients. You maybe sold a big lie to everybody. People bought into it and then they started realizing it was a big lie, and then suddenly you didn't have any business again. Food for thought, right? So the truth is, not a lot of people are being able to make it. Why? Again, it's not the business, it's not the product, it's not the services, it's your mindset. The other day I was working with a woman one-on-one, and she was a bit, Tommy, I don't know what to do next. We were just starting to work together, and she's like, Tommy, tell me what to do. I don't know what to do next. And instead of telling her what to do first, I was asking her, how did it make her feel to do videos, to talk to people, to put herself out there? She said, Tommy, I don't like that. I don't like doing videos, so share another way. She didn't want to talk to people. She didn't want to do videos. How is she going to be able to solve it? Yeah, you can say, oh, faceless nowadays with AI. Yeah, but it's going to, fall apart in the medium run. In a very short period of time, that's going to start falling apart because people are not going to buy AI, except they're wanting to buy AI. But if you're selling some product or services and you're using AI, faceless people to talk, people are not going to feel connected. They're going to feel something is missing. People buy now through more and more connection. Although there's less and less connection, people are still looking a lot for connection. So we got to work on ourselves first, understand our belief system, navigate our emotions to be able to start being able to have a successful business. Again, I've been doing this for 29 years and I've worked with thousands of people around the world. The people that were able to start getting out of their mind in a way, out of those cycles and creating new cycles and be able to start taking actions in their business were the ones that were brave enough to go into their inner world to start understanding it, navigating the negative emotions, and releasing whatever was not theirs. So if this has resonated with you, if you have tried so many things and nothing seems to work, you're in the right place. I was there for many years. I have a free training that I did where I share the 3 main roadblocks that most entrepreneurs hit. I teach you more about how the mind works and how to start overcoming them. If you want to know more, write the word free under here, and we'll share this free training with you so you can start understanding more how the mind works. Because you see, it's like people buy better computers, they want, more Wi-Fi, they want this, they want everything externally, but they don't work with the most important piece of machinery that they have that can lead them to a failed business or a successful business. It is easier, I know, to handle everything on the outside. Buy a new computer, you know that it should not, break apart and, bring problems. But the mind is a scary place to go within. But if we don't know how to not control, manage what's happening inside of us, it's going to make it very difficult to have a successful business. I've seen it all around with thousands of people around the world again. So I know what I'm talking about. So check that out if you want. Write the word free in the comments. I will share this free training to help you understand more how the mind works and how to start making, finally, changes in your life. I hope you take advantage of this amazing opportunity.